bottom. Here comes Gisette. They make contact. They touch once, twice, 3 times.
Oh, trouble! Oh, no, Rocky into the wall. Big crash front straightaway. Huge crash coming into the tri-oval. No, Rocky up and into the air.
They're beating and banging. Burn on the bottom. Cosman up top.
Cosman of Pink. No! Briar by 1/1000th of a second. Joseph now! At the line, Thunhorse pulls the win out at the stripe.
Oh, he saves it! What's going to happen here?
Here comes the canvas! Get your foot down! He got it! He's got it! He's got it!
This is gonna win!
Tonight, the chase for the WINSTEL Cup makes its way to the desert, to Phoenix International Raceway for the second and last race of the campaign for the WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge here on FDF GG. Tonight, the drivers race for 60 laps under the sun. Hello everyone, my name's Justin Prince. Alongside the booth tonight is Derek Watson along with our producer Zach Johnson. With plenty to discuss here for a sunny day here in Phoenix. First things first, let's discuss how the points enter for tonight's action. The pressure is on, especially for Zach Campbell, as he will not be a part of tonight's field. He is unable to make tonight's start. His 105-point advantage to dissipate. He'll be receiving a provisional per race control, meaning Dylan Roberts, along with Jose Solis Jr. and James Holzer, have huge chances to be able to close up the gap in the standings. Mauricio, 132 back, rounds out the top 5, also within a race. Gabriel Mauricio with Christian Budd and Nicholas Doucette. Most of the air drivers, multiple races behind, as these drivers get ready to race for tonight's action. Derek and I will go through tonight's starting grid here from Phoenix. Gabriel Mauricio, needing good points, starts off the night with a pole. We'll start alongside Jose Solis Jr. Dylan Alt, Thomas Lewandowski, the top 4, with Christian Budd and James Holzer, your top 6, Derek.
That's right, Justin. We move on to row 4 here to find Dylan Roberts in that 8 car next to the 24 of Nicholas Doucette. In row 5, you have Sean Pellick in that 48 car with Alex Kolinix in row 5. And then Anthony Krobach and Emily Howe round out row number 6, Justin.
Row 7 tonight, Tyler Head will start alongside Timothy Latham with Parker Alexander and Brennan McGee among some of the Dodges in row 8. Alfie Osman starts row 9 with William Boisvart rounding out the top 9 rows.
We'll move on to row number 10, the 98 of Christina Ryan with 99 of Philip Snipes next to each other. Brandon Cruz Monsavius in the 20 car and TJ Crampton in row 11. And then Grant Brown and Alex Russell in row 12.
An extra pace lap added. The rest of the drivers, once those in the field, Ben Hancock, Chris Hancock, Matt Skipper, will have to start from the pit lane due to a strike due to previous actions this season. Also of note, one driver missed the driver's meeting and final practice entirely. Alexander Russell, he'll start at the tail. So with the additional pace lap, there's plenty to discuss in turn for tonight. 60 laps on the docket, short track racing. Here with 104 degrees, the track temperature fairly cool for Phoenix, but the tempers could be high, with a chance for the battle for the championship coming down to how things could play out these next 2 races, Derek.
Oh, for sure, Justin. And what makes this race more interesting now, you mentioned Zach Campbell is not here. He will get those provisional points. So the drivers probably in 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and even 5th with a great night really could make Homestead almost a heads-up race. And now you've got that extra pressure on you. Now you want to do even better than you thought. You're going to push really hard. You're going to go for everything you got, Justin, to see if you can be in a spot to win this title next week, when it maybe seemed like, a week before that Zach had this almost wrapped up.
It's worth noting some drivers with some troubles. One driver missing the start, Sean Pellig. He's been having a solid season, but now will also start for the pit lane. 4 top 5s, 8 top 10s. Also, a couple chase drivers did not make today's field. Ryan Doucette, as well as Brandon McKissick, not in the field for tonight from Phoenix. 29 drivers making their way to the desert here in Phoenix, Arizona. It's Gabriel Mauricio in control of the field on the inside, Jose Solis Jr. on the outside. The second to last race for the WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge. It's all set to go. We're underway from Phoenix. Pretty wild first lap for Jose Solis Jr. trying to make the pass underneath Mauricio. But with this layout, remember, the dog leg does not exist yet. He nearly went off of the grass and lost a spot to Dylan Alt. Alt in second, losing ground to Mauricio early.
Yeah, it's a point I wanted to bring up as well, Justin. The viewers are going to notice in this track layout, this is a Legacy Phoenix from the time frame of this series. That dogleg does not exist way outside. That's a 45, I think, Justin. That's scary up there.
Alex Kolnick starting in the heart of the pack for the first time in a while. But to keep it side by side with Emily Howe, she tries to keep on the inside with the 45. Pick up a spot up to 9th.
Yeah, I was going to say, this track matches the time frame of the series, Justin. So right there in that dogleg, it's grass. It's not pavement like you would see in the current, era of NASCAR. So you cannot cut down there. You can't take that advantage. And it's a muscle habit you have to break yourself in to race this race tonight.
Absolutely. This very much expect to be a very rhythmistic race. 37% of the fuel limit, mind you. So fuel mileage expected to be also a thought process. How it splits up throughout this race today. Chris Hancock has already ducked his way to the pit lane up known to the 66. He had been running towards the back. Up towards the front, still seeing the battles go on with James Holzer, trying to hold off Roberts. Roberts, remember, in the best position to capitalize on Zach Campbell's no start tonight. He had picked up 170 points apiece in the past 2 races entering tonight.
Yeah, he had picked up those points, so he's making good progress on those points. And that's going to be the story of the night for me, is watching these drivers and see how hard they want to push. But, man, it's a good race so far. We're already 5 laps in here, Justin, and we're seeing mostly a single group. A couple drivers are trying the outside lane, but most people are getting down to the bottom of those corners, JP.
A report from the garage area, Chris Hancock is dealing with connection problems. Put the 66 in the garage to be your first DNF of the night. The source, Chris Hancock. Thomas Lewandowski not backing down against the chase drivers. A battle on the outside, no spotter for tonight. A rarity for him this season. Tries to find a way to clear and does get around Holzer just about. Meanwhile, Jose Solis Jr. in the battle for second, trying to find a way around still to get his spot back. No room yet with Dylan Alt playing defense.
Yeah, JP, it's something to note here. If you're looking towards the back of the screen, that 24 car, that DuPont car, they're getting super loose through some of these corners. That back end is wiggling harder than the rest of the field. I'm curious to see how long they're going to hold on to that, or how long before other cars get around them due to that pace difference.
Still holding on for the time being in the top 5. Track is getting hotter the more the laps get turned here around this racetrack. Holzer just about clear. Lewandowski not backing down, holds the fender. Look who's joining the party though, Kolnick now looking to battle for 8th as well. For the race lead, Dylan Alt taking the high side, looking to rip it away from Mauricio, and does.
There's some good bonus points for Dylan Alt. Of course, not one of our chase drivers this year, but still out here to have good runs. Dylan, of course, is a very talented iRacing member and knows his way around these tracks, Justin.
Currently the only driver with a pro license in the field. NASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series action. Are a few drivers with experience at that level, remember. Already coming up to 50 to go next time by Christian Budd, who's in the championship conversation as well. Trying to slip by Mauricio. Mauricio is dropping like a rock though, Derek.
Yeah, that's a thing that can happen. There's so many reasons why, Justin. It could be that Gabriel was pushing really hard at the start of this race and burned up the tires a little faster. You see the 31 having a little trouble there through part of that corner, but got it together. But yeah, you can burn up tires here pretty quickly. And then if other people were just more conservative or more comfortable or like the track more, have more confidence even, there's so many reasons why that can happen. So you see the 24 hung outside there, Justin. Thought they were going to get around him, but I guess he's going to put the block in for now.
Trying to send it a little deeper for a good suit. You see from the back end of Mauricio. Gonna paint the yellow line though. Holzer having to use a lot of oversteer to be able to hold on to avoid the wall.
And Justin, as these tires are off, and as you said, as this track gets hotter, we're going to see more of that happening out of these corners where this car will get a little harder to handle out of a corner. Oh, there's a wall hit. In fact, we saw that on the back of that camera shot.
That was Lewandowski, believed there. He's using the second line that's been utilized a lot more so with the new Phoenix at that end of the racetrack.
Yeah, Justin, it's funny. We were kind of talking about this off air, but not even extensively. Like, this is a racetrack that's probably changed in small ways more times than we can remember. Like, this racetrack here fits the era of this league, the 2006 era. Remember, this is a track that, up until the early 2000s had a different outside wall attitude that kind of curved in a little bit and even caused more trouble for these drivers out of that corner.
Remember, there was also the footbridge coming out from turn 4.
Yeah, that would have been removed right before the era of this race, and drivers loved it at first because that new pavement provided a little bit more grip out of that corner.
Big slide for Holzer, trying to play defense. Thomas Lewandowski nearly loops it down. Almost looked like he thought the dog leg was there with how big the snap was.
Or at least he was wishing the dog leg was there.
Absolutely. Lewandowski losing a spot to Roberts as a result of the lift and looseness. And boy, how up 3 positions in the fight. Alex Kolinix once again providing this camera angle for tonight. This time showing a case seeing a little bit more of a shelving over his shoulder.
And watch this wheel movement from Kolinix here. Not much in it, JP. If you watch his inputs he's putting into that wheel there, he looks fairly comfortable. Not too much fighting, a little bit out of the corner, but he's got it pretty smooth up until the exits.
Able to keep up the time, though. He's running 29.6s. Leaders are running as quick as 29.4s currently at the head of the pack.
JP, as a driver, this track is pretty deceiving and is more difficult than it looks because you have to be so patient through these corners. I mean, and not the dog leg. I just mean 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. They're such big, long, sweeping corners that you really have to be careful when you get in the gas. You get in the gas too soon in these corners, and either you're going to loop the car around or you're just going to drift the car up high. Here's another onboard view, Justin.
This is Christina Ryan. She is the biggest mover in the field so far. 7 positions. The 98. It's roaring forward, running lap times comparable to Dylan Roberts in the 29.6s as well.
See a lot of focus there from Christina Ryan. No real emotions and no looks of frustration, but definitely focus trying to hold on to this race car.
Did take a peek back. It looked like maybe you're the camera to the mirror. Anthony Krobach is right behind her as well. Krobach has dropped back from the 11th starting spot. It's starting to struggle with looseness as a cloud covers the racetrack.
And when you're a driver, JP, that cloud covering a racetrack is such a... I don't know how much it really helps, but as a driver, you think it helps. Mentally, oh yeah, it's going to get cooler, and it's gone in a couple laps. But there's that placebo effect where you just think it helps and gave you so much more grip in that corner, and sometimes it's just all in your head.
Can affect things, absolutely. Krobach just about looped it up to the front, though. Dylan out, Jose Celis Jr. There's Krobach. He nearly also took a turn to where the dog leg would be in the modern times. Instead, still holding up Timothy Latham and Ali Osman. Osman up 2 spots, one of the chase drivers. Krobach's really struggling with that rear, so is Latham, and the caution is up for Osman.
That was a very quick looping of the car, Justin. That wow, that happened very suddenly. And very well, actually. He really got a full 360 and grabbed the gear and kept going. Good props to the 25 for doing so. Here's the replay.
Yeah, watch where the bumper is on the 25, and then watch where Parker's is. And around goes Ali Hausman.
Yeah, you can see here in the replay, if you watch it, he was up on the back of that 12 card. You can see the 12 we can see the 12 sliding out. Oh, and he got hit from behind by the 2. That's what helped send him around.
So caution flag waves. It's one of the chase drivers, Ali Hausman, going around.
Well, now the race within the race starts, Justin. Sorry, go ahead.
Let's say we'll see how the strategy plays out. We'll also see who gets the vote for the caution flag trigger. But now, this essentially, in theory, makes it a one-stop race from here. See if anybody risked the two-tire gamble, Derek, is the major question. We've seen how beneficial some drivers have seen it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's the race within the race now. Now you got a race to make a strategy that puts you out front or keeps you out front compared to the rest of the field. We're seeing cars here, the 1, the 11, the 31 at the front of pit road. Let's see what happens here as they come off of pit road. We'll watch those pit times.
Brad Brown missed his pit stall. 4 tires for Mauricio, Solis Jr., Alt. They're the first 3 out. As a matter of fact, nobody taking a 2-tire stop this time. Nobody risking it.
Yeah, so as you said, there's Grant Brown. I suspect will pit this time by because he completely missed his pit stall. Yeah, the pit stall times say that everyone took 4 tires, Justin. No surprises on the pit stop times.
Brown, as expected, comes in. Jose Solis Jr., though, with a half-second quicker pit stop. Taking over the race lead here at Phoenix. She's passed a third of the way through this race. Alt, Mauricio, Doucette, Bud. The top 5. Holzer, Roberts, Lewandowski, Kalanick, and Tyler Head. The top 10 now as a result of this caution sequence.
Let's talk the positives and negatives of pit road for a second, Justin. You got 2 opposite swings here. The 24, Nicholas Doucette pit stop time, 13.5. That is faster than anyone else who was on pit road, and by a lot, actually. So that should have given him some good positions. Thomas Lewandowski, though, who you mentioned, a 15.1. So I'm not sure, just a slow stop, got in the box wrong, but that'll cost you a spot or 2 and really frustrate you as a driver.
Emily Howe did have a mistake noticed in her pit stall. That's where Emily Howe has dropped back to 11th, 3 seconds longer than some. You see the manufacturer diversity among some of the front runners. It's Chevy, 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 Ford, Dodge, Chevy, Ford, Dodge, Chevy. About half of that was Chevy. 1 to go. So now it comes to question mark is going to be how this restart plays out. Solis Jr., big opportunity for him here with his first lead laps of the race.
Right. And so let me explain to you the difficulty of the restart here for the 11. So the league rules for the WINSTEL Gen 4 league says you have to wait until the green flag. Now, Justin, we know as drivers that this pace car is going to pull off super early and kind of leave them hanging for a lot longer than what we're used to. It's super hard not to just like punch that gas and go. So don't be wrong, he'll do it just fine, but it's a little bit more of a mental game than we handle at most tracks here.
Already some throttle games coming up to that green flag trigger. Solis Jr. gets the green flag. Off and away we go. 36 laps to go from Phoenix. Launch for Solis Jr. into the opening corner. Mauricio takes a peek for second, though. He wants it back from Dylan Alt. Alt slams the door shut, however. Nicholas Doucette on the high side, taking advantage. Oh, and there's that looseness you were talking about, Derek. Nicholas Doucette nearly looped it in front of the field.
Yeah, that's I'm guessing for how loose that is, that means he's getting that corner a little too hot, just a little too late, in other words, not braking as soon as he should. And that's what's going to cause that car to get loose, is you're carrying too much speed into that corner, Justin.
You're 3 wide. Christian Budd trying to take a peek. James Holzer trying to take a run on the high side. And Roberts lined up on the high side as well. 2 by 2, a couple rows deep now in the battle for what is for 4th position. It's looking like Mauricio, after losing that lead, has really started to struggle here in the midst of traffic.
Yeah, traffic can be a hard thing for a driver. The way you drive up front and the way you drive in traffic are very different. When you're up front, there's only one thing to worry about, which is just the open space ahead of you. You get back here in traffic, now you start to play that mental game of, when does that guy brake? Can I outrun this guy? Oh my gosh, I can't get my line because he's blocking me. It'll play with your head, and it's a very different race between in traffic and out front.
Roberts trying to get the pole on the outside still. Meanwhile, and plenty of space to Christian Budd. A lot of it entering turn 3. 17 charging the corner still. Not backing down. Roberts now with the pinch. Now trying to force the bobble. Doesn't get it though. Starting to lose a bit of ground to the 31 as a result. Thomas Lewandowski in the popcorn seat right behind him.
Yeah, Lewandowski probably wished he was in a better spot. We mentioned he had that slow pit stop at the 15.1. And those spots can really get you. But he's doing well here. He's getting lined up behind the 8. Is kind of biding his time and hoping he can make some moves here before the next round of pit stops begin.
Lined up as well behind Christian Budd as Roberts has completed the pass indeed. Lewandowski, by the way, has picked up a spotter right at about halfway. Marcus Lindsay has joined the spotters stand middle of the race. So the 21 now with some spotter assist is the only in-sim spotter currently in this event. Coming up to halfway.
Sorry, JP. I was gonna say that's such a benefit as a driver to have a spotter who you trust. Part of being a good spotter and being we got a little bit of this back in the field. Sorry. Part of being a good spotter is how you communicate with someone. Anyone can spot. I believe that, and I say it all the time. Anyone can spot, and I encourage you to try it. But to be a great spotter, it's about communication with the driver. How you guys communicate, the words you use, the tone of your voice, the pace of your voice. A spotter and driver is almost like a best friendship where you don't even have to say anything at some points. You just know what the other person is thinking.
Absolutely, such a critical skill and a critical benefit. Meanwhile, Roberts trying the low side to get around Mauricio. Mauricio playing defense though. Hold him off just past the halfway point of this race. So is Junior. Losing the lead right now to Dylan Alt. Alt back to the point. Alt, Roberts led the most laps today.
Oh, that's a quick stop.
Wow, he just decided to tuck into the slide for the pit stop.
I want to think that wasn't planned. It doesn't. I mean, we're halfway through, and it seemed like he got loose, and that was the easiest line to take, Justin.
Yeah, that is a very interesting play for the 11 car. So keep in mind, some of the drivers before the caution went about 21 laps for the yellow flag flew last time. Just past halfway, more coverage coming up right after this on FTF.GG. Caution flag is out. Right after the throw, Brennan McGee gets turned around, entering the dog leg. Battle for about 13th. It was with help from Sean Pellig. Remember, started this race from the pit lane after missing the grid. And now, 9. Dropped all the way back to 22nd with the spin, Derek.
Yeah, he did. But JP, the story right now, Jose Solis Jr. must have a crystal ball in that car. He must know something we don't know, Justin. He's off at pit road and still on the lead lap. I have to assume all these guys are going to pit, and he's going to inherit the lead, Justin.
Took fuel only. We'll talk about that in a moment. This is the reason for the caution flag. Watch the run for the 48.
Just ran him over.
Right to the grass. That brings out the caution. Take a look from their angle. Yeah, Peleg had a big run out of 2.
Had a big run, and I think he honestly thought that McGee wasn't really in the quote-unquote lane that you expected him to be. He was kind of down low, and so maybe Peleg thought he could push it 3 wide. I'm not sure. Let's watch from his in-car here. Or this onboard, I should say.
There is a hole.
Yeah, not much of one.
Yeah, that is not a big hole.
No. Unless you're like the Harry Potter bus, you're not fitting in there.
So now this race takes a turn. 2 tire stops for most of the drivers up at the front. Lau Zaire, Philip Snipes staying out here for now. See if they pull in. You also have Matt Skipper, who had been in the pit lane at the top of the yellow and is getting the wave. Jose Solis Jr. took fuel only, Derek, to keep that lead lap and inherit the race lead, but will now have to get the job done on older tires compared to his competitors, especially on the right side.
So that makes me think that stop obviously wasn't planned. It was sort of what we thought it was, Justin, which is that just got loose, was sliding the car. That seemed like the correct path to take, and an opportunity opened. But to not take tires tells me it wasn't a planned stop. I can't think there's a way that as a driver you don't want tires, or that you want to try to run the next 30 laps on the same tires, basically. I think that proves how unplanned it was.
Now the interesting play is going to be if the 90 and 99 stay out. This could become a bonanza. Keep in mind, Snipes topped off before the last restart. Lilac did not top off. Race off the lane, sorted out as Mauricio, Holzer, Bud Lewandowski, Head, Kolonix, Ryan, Latham. Top 10 off that race, top 8 rather. And it looks like it's time to play the wild card. Drivers who have been running in the teens and the 20s all day will now get to control the field to the restart. We've seen how adventurous this was a couple weeks ago. For those who watched it in Atlanta, how does this go this time, Derek?
This is going to be chaos in so many ways, because you got the drivers up front who didn't take tires, so they're candidates for wheel spin. I'm not going to wish it upon them, but I'm going to say that's a possibility. Then you got the drivers like Mauricio, Holzer, Tyler Head, Lewandowski, who are expecting the wheel spin and may not be eager to get on the gas on the restart, hoping they can avoid the potential wreck. This is going to be a hodgepodge of ideas in people's heads right now, and I'm excited to see how it happens as we're going to go on the green, Justin.
Zaire inside, Snipes outside. And Snipes already trying to get a run ahead of Zaire. Green flag is out. And a slow delay launch of the green. Misshift for the 93 wide. Here comes Solis Jr. Solis Jr. backs out of it though. Mauricio now tries to take a peek. Over the back end of Snipes. Solis Jr. checks up. Zaire tries to hold onto the inside. Philip Snipes to the race lead over Mauricio now into 3.
But look how how bunched up it is, Justin. That just from the start, how slow. Oh, Solis got loose again out of 4. But yeah, I mean, this is wow. They got the 21 now. Going to make it 3 wide.
3 wide. There is Head on the high side. Zaire sliding up in front of Solis Jr. again. Here comes Dylan Alt. He is the first on 4. Nicholas to set to the wall. There goes the 41 to the fence as well. The caution flag waves. And you could see that coming.
There was just so much tension and so much, of an accordion effect going on. So unfortunately now the 24's got that blown motor here, Justin. What could have been a promising night in that chase is not going to be for the 24.
Take a look at this gaggle. You have Christina Ryan up there, 2 tires. You have the 4 tires trying to break through. You have Nicholas Doucette trying to break through. There's Crampton.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I mean, the 24 was slow and the 41 just didn't notice, and I mean, literally almost lifted the 24 off the ground from the back end from that camera angle.
Now, what a save from Ryan, first of all. Crampton did take responsibility for the incident. Parker Alexander also significant contact in it. We are under caution. Lilac Zaire also coming in to take service as a result of the caution flag. So the gamble, again, does not work out for the 90. Matt Skipper also in with months of ice.
Philip Snipes, though, stayed. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Same thought. I'm sorry.
Was about to say, he is leading for what is now 4 laps total in this race, to his credit. Philip Snipes, this is the most amount, or these are the most amount of laps he's led so far this season.
You know, and I was going to make this point earlier about Dylan Alt, and the race kind of shifted into where I kind of lost the thought. But when you're the 99 of Philip Snipes, when you're the 1 of Dylan Alt, when you are some of these drivers, as you see, that who do not have that yellow banner in their name up on the ticker on the top of the screen, to reference DJ Khaled, Justin, all they want to do is win, right? There's no other goal here. Win is the goal here. So now I'm not saying that I think the 99 is, well, I mean, who knows what happens? We've seen crazy things happen in races, but if you're the 99 right now, you're taking a swing to see what happens. You're gonna take a flyer and see if you can make something happen. Maybe enough cautions happen that you pit with the field and you find yourself up here. There's no downside right now. You're not a chase driver. You just got to take a chance and see what happens.
Keep in mind, Snipes is not the only person who can play spoiler with the track position. You also mentioned Alt, who's back to 6th. Tyler Head is up to 5th, and Tyler Head has had a very up and down season as well in that 4 machine. We've seen him in plenty of hits. We've seen him with decent top 10 speed in some races. He has a chance from row 3 possibly to work forward here in the midst of the pack. He is 19th in the points entering today.
Now, a tale of 2 stories, Justin, of what happened here. I mean, Philip Snipes obviously controlled the start, so they got a better opportunity to have some momentum on that start. But really, overall, for the few laps we were green, held their own. And, despite being out on 20 laps since they pitted last and older tires, they did okay. We saw Jose Solis Jr. really struggle there, Justin, to even hold on to the car out of the corners. A tale of 2 stories on old tires.
Also becomes the question, does Snipes have enough fuel?
Not unless we keep going caution.
Green flag here. This will tie the longest stint total set of tires or tank of fuel in this race. Coming to 16 to go here from the desert. Snipes inside, Mauricio outside. First on 4 tires, Dylan Alt in 6th position. Green flag is out. Back underway, a slow launch for the 99 of Snipes. 3 wide, here comes Bud. Bud backs out of it. Snipes loses the lead as here comes Holzer. And the glass slipper shatters for Philip Snipes. His strategy play no longer working to his benefit as here comes Bud.
Yeah, when you have drivers with new tires on the outside of a restart on you, this is what's going to happen. But when this is someone who was back in the back of the field before this cycle started or the strategy started. So far, for at least for a lap or 2, it's still a positive gain. And I think that's important to remember is that compared to where they were, this isn't detrimental. The worst that happens is they end up where they started with this pit strategy.
Philip 13 has more trouble. Osman in a stack up. That was Krolbach getting to the back end of him as well. Krolbach now with damage. We stay green into turn 1 and 2. Amongst those who took 4 tires that are deep in this pack though, Roberts, Howe, and a couple others that have had speed throughout the day. Some of them still are boxed in behind Snipes and company, as well as this battle with Solis Jr. This is Timothy Latham to the outside.
Yeah, the 11 car surprises me, Justin. This is the night to gain, I think we talked off air before the race began. You could gain 100 points on Zach Campbell tonight. You could close that gap and make it 0 for Homestead. You almost have to play it safe. I'm so surprised that the 11 of all people is the one who is still out on those tires. Not pitting the first time, I get it. The second time, I don't know, Justin. I struggle with this decision.
Now remember, he ended up taking the fuel only under green. What would have been a massive undercut if it stayed green. Instead, he's trying to hold on to 10th. The battle for second is intensifying. Holzer is trying to hold off Dylan Alt. Alt trying to find a way to retake the lead. 11 laps to go. Holzer drifts his way out of 4.
This is a great run by Alt. Something to be proud of. And another yellow.
13th spot. Ali Osman and Dylan Roberts is in it. Second in the points. He was 15th at the time of the caution, and that can be very costly and may indeed be costly for Roberts.
Yeah, only time will tell when we see the pit stop and how much damage needs to be fixed or whatnot, but not what you want to see.
Just trying to get around the traffic. They're in contact with Howe.
Yeah, Howe just got in the back of the 25 there, and then it just sort of collected for me. You see the 8 got collected. There was some smoke up ahead of him, and that's the 20. Is that still the 25?
That's the 6, Ben Hancock.
You're right, that is the 6. Yeah, so lots of cars collected here.
Our look right there is the clear attempt. Ends up collecting a chase driver. Second incident, that is the 00 of Grant Brown giving it a kiss and an assist. Keep in mind, the lap prior, this also happened. That might be a strike.
Yeah, I would say so. And especially if you're the 16 who received a strike for previous activity, I mean, that's like Brad Kozlowski and Team No Lift. I don't know. Whoa. What's the 17 doing back there? I don't know if you saw him dancing in the back of the frame there. That wasn't I'm sorry, not the 17. Who was that on pit road, Justin?
That was Alexander Russell, I think, down the pit lane. And for those confused, remember, he's supposed to be 32. He has decided, I believe by accident, to be 2003 Matt Kenseth instead today. And in sim, he's the 44. So
I hate when I wake up today and suddenly I'm accidentally 2003 Matt Kenseth. It's just, that happens sometimes,
Yeah, you never know when that accidentally happens to you.
Some days you wake up and you're like, 2006 Carl Edwards,
I mean,
when you're feeling kind of incoherent, you're 2018 Clint Boyer. It's a different personality every day, Justin.
So we're under 10 laps to go in this race right now. Mauricio, Holzer, Alt, Bud, the top 4. Towerhead is up to 5th as a result of the Hornet's Nest. Alt is the only driver inside the top 10 on 4 tires.
Yeah, so I wanted to go through that if you don't mind. So we have some drivers: Christina Ryan, Kolinix, Emily Howe, Brennan McGee, William Boisevert, Krobach, Grant Brown, and Ben Hancock, the only ones who didn't pit here. So Jose Solis is the first driver who took tires here, Justin, with 8 to go.
Remember, he was on the fuel only, so he's trying to see if he can cut his way to the field. A 17-lap difference. Lavik Zaire, Montevais, Repas, and 2003 Matt Kenseth are on that call.
So here's the deal for Jose Solis, in my opinion, at this point, Justin. It's about how does this race play out. If we get a couple laps green, or if we go green to the end, then I think those tires will be a benefit to Solis and the drivers behind him who pitted. But obviously, if we get a caution here, then that goes out the window. With there being no green white checker here in in WINSTEL here on the FTF channel, then who knows what's going to happen here.
Mauricio has chosen to take the top line for the restart. Interesting play, the first driver to do that this race today. Grant Brown warning technical issue being directed to pit road in the heart of the pack. Mauricio coming to 6 laps to go. Looks to hold it out. Green flag is out and a bad start for the 31. James Holzer to the race lead. Mauricio not able to get rolling on the launch.
Look at that, Justin. Back in that field there on the bottom of your screen, that's Sean Puggan of 48, 1-3 wide. That's a driver who started on pit road and is now up here near the top 10.
Back in the top 10. Still in the midst of the 3 wide. Snipes trying to hold it out on the older tires. Solis Jr. trying to hang it out on the high side as well at the back of the pack with Dylan Roberts. Up for the lead. Holzer holding off Alt for now. Mauricio trying to hold on to second. Oh, and trouble at the very back of the field. Matt Skipper going around. No caution. We stay green. Under 5 laps to go, coming to 4.
That's good news. That would have been the end of the race, but it looks like he's got it moving, Justin. So race control is going to let it go. And as long as he can maintain his speed and not be in the way, we'll say green here.
Holzer trying to maintain a 3-car length advantage now over Mauricio. Bud trying to follow the outside. Mitts with Dylan Alt. Remember, we're in point of no return territory. If there's a caution at this point forward, come down to a 2-lap shootout. Alt nearly loops it around. Loses ground as Bud keeps it around the bottom. Down to 3 to go.
You know, JP, and I misspoke earlier just to be clear. I said there's no green white checkers. That's not right. There's one here, I believe, in this league. I have my leagues confused, but I think in this league there is one.
Yeah.
So we could see it here. And that would be a benefit to some people, obviously, but we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, that's not going to happen here so far. We're 2 to go, coming to the white flag, Justin.
Holzer taking the lead in the late stages of this race. Looking to hold on in the final stages. Looking for win number 5 of the campaign. He's to hold on for 4 more corners. White flag is coming up at the stand. Final time around from Phoenix. One Mauricio trying to charge his way forward. Loses ground instead. Holzer keeping it clean. For the final time, James Holzer make his way through 3 and 4. James Holzer does it again. He wins at Phoenix. His 3rd victory in the past 5 races. And he gets it done over Mauricio. Alt, Bud, and Lewandowski round out the top 5. Oh, and they're crashing big now in the dog leg and sending barrier pieces and fenders crashing.
Of note, Justin, congrats, Jose Solis. Turn that back to a 7th place finish, just outside the top 5 for someone who we thought made some questionable decisions. Still gets a good top 10, but congrats here, Holzer. That'll help him next week, when it comes to hopefully winning this championship.
So Holzer picks up win number 5. He's picked up wins as of late at Kansas, Talladega, and now here in the desert. Chance to take a look at the unofficial race results as he burns it down as a result of this victory. Half a second the gap between him and Mauricio. Mauricio's best run of the chase. sees him in second. Dylan Alt in third. Christian Budd, Thomas Lewandowski, the top 5. Tower Head in 6th. Fresh Tires of Solis Jr. gets up to 7th. Christina Ryan with a top 10 in 8th. Timothy Latham, Emily Howe is your top 10.
Move on to position 11. That's Sean Pelican of 48. Alex Collins, in 12th. Brendan McGee in 13th, involved in that wreck earlier. William Boisevert in 14th. Philip Snipes, who led a few laps over 15th. Anthony Krobach in 16th. Dylan Roberts, a chase driver, in 17th. Alexander Russell in 18th. Ben Hancock is 19th. And Brandon Cruz Monsavius in P20.
21st today goes to Live Exire. The strategy did not work out for the 90. Ali Osman involved in several cautions, 22nd. Parker Alexander in 23rd. Hayden Repas, 24th. Matt Skipper and Grant Brown round out the finishers. The DNFs today, Nicholas Doucette, TJ Crampton, and Chris Hancock. Let's look top to bottom at your unofficial race results here from Phoenix, and what turned out to be a very eventful one. To the race win, to victory lane we go. James Holzer gets win number 5 of the season, and his 3rd win in the past 5. When you're hot, James. How does it feel to win your 5th race of the season and your 3rd in the past 5 races?
It feels so good, Justin. We've been really hot here in the last couple races. As you kind of know, didn't have a great start to our playoff run with Watkins Glen, and I thought really after Atlanta getting wrecked there at the end, that race kind of, bringing back together a decent finish, but still got 20th. But I really thought that was the end of our chase. But we aren't racing next week, unfortunately, so I'm going to be taking a provisional. I'll be in Martinsville for the NASCAR race. But yeah, it kind of stinks because we're in a really good position now to fight for that championship. I think we'll be second. I don't think we got all the way to Zach Campbell, who couldn't race tonight. But I mean, if he would have made all the races, it would really have made the playoffs his race to, or his chase to win for sure. But him missing a couple weeks has made it exciting.
Keep in mind, for those curious on the rules, the final race cannot be dropped as well for the full season. For reference,
Correct, yeah.
for the standings, per the rules, for those keeping track. But talk about this race, though, because you ended up taking the lead late in this event. In fact, how would you describe your journey to get to this position, especially with how the strategy played out?
Yeah, it was really tough to pass. And if you were stuck on the bottom, you were pretty much in dead zone. You really couldn't get the power down, which I was so surprised on that restart. I was able to slide up in front of Gabriel there. But yeah, I was just trying to keep the track position. And I went against my strategy, what I was going to do, thank God, actually, because it was what Jose did. I was going to pit with like 30 to go because the tires kind of fell off, but they didn't fall off too bad. But I was going to run, only about 4 or 5 laps, come in, take a splash and go and just top off on fuel for that. But I decided against it, and I was going to pit with about 20 to go and take 2 tires, and then that caution came out. So took 2 tires because I figured a majority of people would, and the left sides didn't wear out as much as they usually do. So took 2 tires and got the track position. Was stuck on the bottom there behind the people that stayed out entirely, and was able to bounce up to the outside and just got to the outside on the right restart and was able to get the second there. And I really wanted it to go green because that's all I really thought I was going to get to. Gabriel was really fast tonight, but was able to have a really good jump on that last restart and was able to slide up, and they got to battling behind, and that's really all it took.
So on that note, as you mentioned, you will not be taking part in the final race of the season coming up. So how much are you looking forward to your plans for the next week?
What's that? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You just mentioned you're going to a racetrack.
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to Martinsville. I'm really excited about it. A group of us actually that race together on iRacing are meeting up for the first time, and we're all going down together. There's a group of 10 of us, so it's going to be a blast for sure. But obviously, wish I was racing here. Homestead is one of my favorite tracks. Been ripping it up in officials this week, and really wish these cars are a lot of fun there too. So kind of wish we could run there, but it's always cool going to a NASCAR event, and it's going to be cool to experience Martinsville. And hopefully the Cup race is a little bit better this year. It looks like they figured out laying down rubber, so hopefully more passing and that kind of stuff. But, it's the next to last race of their, championship season, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of excitement.
You can always bring the rig and race from the racetrack somehow.
I thought about it. I don't have a truck cap, or I would.
Well, congratulations on the victory. Congratulations on your strong season overall then.
Yeah, thanks, Justin. It was good to end it off on a high note on a win.
As James Holzer picking up the win. As he mentioned, not taking part in the season finale. Derek Watson, meanwhile, is standing by with the driver who started from the pole and led 16 laps today, second most, Gabriel Mauricio.
Gabriel, good job tonight. P2, tell us your thoughts on the race as a whole.
Man, I still can't believe I got the pole. Just glad I was able to run up front with the high level of competition. And man, I feel like that one got away. Just messed up on the restart, spun the tires, and we're just glad I was able to hang on to a second place finish. But overall, I like this track, so I knew I could at least try to win the race. But like I said, it's just a high competition of drivers, so not sure how it's gonna be on the points. But we've been like for a couple of races just now running well. Like top 5 has been the best I could get, so surely get a chance of winning a race to me is awesome. So let's see what we can do at home today. I truly don't run well at this track, so let's see.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see what happens. But talk to me a little bit about the restart tonight. There were a couple times when you found yourself behind cars that maybe hadn't taken tires in a long time. Were you concerned about wheel spin? Were you just concerned about getting around them? Did you want to lay back in case they did wheel spin? What was the strategy for that?
Well, it's tough because you got a pinch on the outside when you go in 1 and 2, so you're just kind of worried about getting down because the bumpers don't line up. So every restart I was just try to drive it in and make sure I wasn't going to get run over and be the one that end up bumping somebody, not the one that gets turned around. So I was kind of lucky with restarts. Like the first one, Jose almost got by me, but the final one that mattered the most, I just wasn't able. But got lucky with the cautions. It was pretty much going to be a race beam between Dylan and Jose with the green flag pit stops. Unfortunately, had a caution that made the racing at the end be a ton of wrecks. So although it helped me, kind of messed up the race. It could have been a lot better if he went green all the way, but I was worried about wheel spin on the restarts for sure, because he could definitely try to use first gear and second gear. And 1 and 2 is kind of multi-groove, so sometimes he can run the top and the middle street, say, and get a run off the corner, or just dive to the inside and still maintain the position.
For sure. Well, we found out that next week James is not going to be here to race. We know you made up a lot of points on the points leader Zach Campbell tonight. So how optimistic are you that you can still have a chance to win this title next week at Homestead?
Yeah, I had no idea about the points. I wasn't even, to be honest, wasn't even looking at all the points for this race. I was just trying to get a win this season. But let's see how it happens. It can be kind of crazy at the end and just get lucky with the points and maybe get a championship. Who knows?
Who knows? All right. Well, Gabriel, good job tonight. Congrats on the P2. And once again, thanks for talking.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's Gabriel Mauricio. He's the driver of the 31 car. And I believe Justin will catch up with the driver of the 1 car. That's Dylan Auld. Are you going to catch up with him, or is he available?
I believe he sprinted away from the garage area and is somewhere on a plane right now.
Okay.
So we'd like to take the time to thank James Holzer and Gabriel Mauricio to take the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on FTF.GG. But the season finale, expected to be a barn burner potentially for the championship now. You have Zach Campbell with the provisional tonight. You have drivers like Dylan Roberts losing a bit of ground potentially as a result of the incidents. You have drivers like James Holzer gaining ground but not able to take part in the final race of the season. It may be a bit of a blender to find out who's going to play things in. It's going to be interesting when we get to Homestead. Derek?
Yeah, no, it is going to be it's going to be a bit of a blender. I'm excited for Homestead. Man, this points battle tonight has really shaped up. I mean, I'm sad Zach couldn't race. I have a lot of respect and admiration for how Zach races, but I'm stoked, Justin, for next week. Is it next week already?
Yeah, I think that's the question some people may have with Homestead. Close out the season. Currently coverage tentatively scheduled 8 p.m. Eastern Time on October the 30th, 2022. 50 laps up on the board there. But with that, it's time to say goodbye for tonight's action. For my co-announcer, Derek Watson, for Zach Johnson, I'm just Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching the WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge from Phoenix. Congratulations to James Holzer, your winner from the desert.